Do you like reading mystery books? I have been obsessed with Agatha Christie. Not like I would not really say it's obsessed, but I have really been into Agatha Christie books. I read two of them this month, last month actually, and I reviewed one of them and I'll link it down below in the description. And today I'm going to review one of the most popular books by Agatha Christie, and that is The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. If you want to know how this book is without having any spoilers because you really want to read it or figure out whether you want to read it or not, then keep watching this video. Hi guys, I'm Manpreet and I make book related videos on this channel. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, turn on the notifications so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. Let's get started with this one. It's a non-spoiler book review, so don't worry that you will get some spoilers or know who's the murderer. You cannot guess who is the murderer in this book. So talking about the story of this book, the book is about what the title says, the murder of Roger Ackroyd. Roger Ackroyd is a rich man. Is he a rich man? But he's a man who knows too much. He knew he was the only person, or maybe not the only person, who knew that his lover poisoned her first husband. And she was being blackmailed by somebody before she committed suicide. And she sort of told Roger Ackroyd who is the blackmailer. But before Roger Ackroyd could see who was the blackmailer or read who was the blackmailer, he was found dead. The question is now, who killed Roger Ackroyd? Was it the blackmailer or was it someone with some other agenda, some other motive who was the killer? Discussing about the plot of this book, it's very much driven by the timeline of the events that happened before and after the book. So the murder part is like a very okayish part. Murder happened, blah. But what happened before that and what happened after that is what makes the story. It's a very precise kind of plot, I would say, where the most of the focus is on figuring out who was there, who was where when the murder happened, more than what could be the motive and something like that. But obviously motive is also important, but the plot is more like built around the timeline of the events and who was where and what and everything. Because of the way the plot is, it gets so interesting and it remains the same throughout the book. It's not like the book gets interesting at this point or that point. It's like interesting throughout the book, which I love the plot of this book. Talking about the characters of this book, I love a story with good characters. Like, I feel like a book cannot exist in its true form if the characters are not good or well built or well described. Discussing about Poirot. Now, this was my first book of Hercule Poirot mysteries, and I absolutely loved how much I came to know about Poirot and how his personality was. Please don't mind this hand. I cannot really hold my notebook in this hand and then hold this book over here. Don't mind. It's nothing on my hand. I know somebody is going to ask because you guys love me so much. It's just like a little bit of pain which I usually get, so nothing to worry about. Okay, so I was discussing about Poirot as a character. Like, I really loved this book because of how much I came to know about Poirot. I fell in love with Poirot because of this book, because I read After the Funeral as well, and that book was not really about Poirot or not really shed any light on Poirot as a detective or his work or anything like that. But this book was different, and this book made it look really good. I really liked him. I really liked his approach of solving a crime and all those lines and quotations. Amazing. But I do want to mention that sometimes I felt very irritated when he would not give away like the real thing I really wanted to know, and he was like, he will pick something up and he'll be like, okay, alright, no, I want to know what happened. Why did you pick it up? What did you think after it? But I feel like that is a limitation because of the narration, which we'll talk after this point of characters. Talking about the narrator of the book, Dr. Shepherd, I really loved him. Like, he was like so funny. The way he described everybody, the way he described the events, I felt like that's the kind of narrator I would love in detective stories. That's the kind of impression I got. I really developed a special fondness for his sister because the way he described his sister and the way her personality was, like her resourcefulness and her ability of getting the news from anywhere is like amazing. I really liked his sister. I really liked his sister, and sometimes let me quote those things. Let me read them out from my notebook because they were so good. But I think I'll discuss them in the writing, okay? Now, one of the very main characters which you would feel was there, Ralph Payton. He was kind of sort of missing from the entire story, and I kind of like, okay, he's missing, so could not build could not build much connection with him, which was a bit disappointing. There are many other characters in this book, and you will like them. You will like, you know, the colors that were given to them. But in this book, you're gonna particularly love Poirot and Caroline, who was narrator's sister, because they are just amazing. Talking about the writing of this book, narration of this book, narrative structure of this book is what makes this a classic. Like, I feel like this book is so amazing. This particular mystery is so amazing because of the narrative style that the author chose for this book. Amazing. She was smart. She was really smart. It's a first person narrative, if you didn't already guess, and the family doctor is telling you about all the events that happened before and after the murder and everything around it. He is like the companion of Poirot in his investigation, so he's telling the entire story, and he tells it in an amazing manner. It's so different. Like, it's like, if you're like, a lot of people, when I did my after the funeral review, they were like, I read that book by Agatha Christie and I didn't really like it. I would recommend you to read this one, because, you know, first of all, you would not even feel like this is written by the same author, because it's so different, so amazing. Like, I am amazed, I am impressed, I am amazed, and I am enchanted by her writing because of how different all of them seem to be. I've read 3 books and none of them seem like it has been written by the same author, but they do have the good elements of the Agatha Christie books. The narrator, Dr. Shepard, like, he should not be a doctor at all. He should be a writer. He makes you laugh, he makes you get curious, and he makes you get irritated, and he's so good, so good. Like, I cannot really say everything about him, but I really loved him. Let me quote some lines of how he described Caroline, because those were like my favorite parts of the book. So this one is really my favorite. We went off, leaving Caroline rather like a dog who has been refused a walk, standing on the front door step, gazing after us. And don't you dare to think that he was a dog lover, because he was not. He betrayed me and said this: Caroline was exactly like a cat that is full to overflowing with rich cream. She was positively purring. That reminds me of the kitty ball, kitty little ball of fur. Happy kitty, sleepy kitty, comment down below if you're a Big Bang Theory fan. His descriptions about all the characters, his descriptions, like, obviously it's the writer, and I can say that. I'm just telling you that narrator's description and narrator's description of events and characters is amazing. Obviously the author's narrative style is amazing, so I totally loved it. Overall, if I have to say how this book is, I would definitely say that this is a book that will make you admire Agatha Christie in the real sense. If you have ever read an Agatha Christie book and you were like, I am not that impressed and I don't want to read another book, please pick up this one. Please give her another chance, because she deserves a lot of another chances. You read this book, you will fall in love. Just read it. Just go and read it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Yes, guys, this is what I think about Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie. Do let me know if you like it. Do let me know if you have read it. Do let me know if you plan to read it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and give it a big fat thumbs up. This is Melody signing off. I'll be back with another video very soon.